As the whole press briefing by Chief Justice Martha Koome, saying that, as the judiciary, they really want to have a conversation with the president, and having statements from Nakuru residents. Chichi, a very good morning to you. What are residents there saying on this particular matter, the whole executive versus judiciary tiff, and the impact that it will really have on Kenyans? Can you also tell us what to expect from Nakuru today?
Well, Stan, a very good morning to you. And like you said, yes, we're indeed coming live to you from Nakuru City. And on 8th this month, advocates and legal practitioners declared a mass protest symbolizing solidarity with the judiciary over the executive excesses. And remember, all this was to strongly criticize President William Ruto over alleged attacks on the judiciary. And remember, President William Ruto is being accused of attacking judicial officers for what he termed as undermining his key projects, among them being the housing, or rather the affordable housing program. And also, I will be talking to residents in regard to this, what they feel about this whole matter. But also remember, yesterday, Chief Justice Martha Koome in a press conference said that these continuous judicial attacks, or rather attacks on the judiciary and continuous disobedience of court orders means that the respect for the judiciary has really gone down. Therefore, I'll be talking to residents in this regard to tell me what they feel about this particular matter. Wakimani, allow me to talk to you. We get to know what really you think about this particular matter. We have seen President William Ruto being told that he attacked the judiciary. What do you think about this whole matter as a person and as a Kenyan?
Thank you, TV47. It's really sad that we have ushered in a regime that does not respect the rule of law, a regime that is sliding into anarchy, a regime that is bringing chaos into this country, willingly or unwillingly, through the disrespect of the law. None other but the President of the Republic of Kenya has shown sheer disrespect with the decisions of the judiciary, which is supposed to be an independent arm of the government. We've seen previous presidents. We've seen Mwai Kibaki respect the judicial decisions. There are several roads that he would have done in Othaya, but was stopped by the same judiciary, and he completed his term without those roads being attended to. But here he performed. So they cannot tag their performance on the work of the judiciary. The judiciary is doing its work and must and ought to be respected. We've seen the deputy president claiming that there is one officer in the judiciary and goes by naming her. She's a family man. She has kids. She has a family. Then you go and tarnish her name in front of the public. If today I become the president, I cannot go punishing my previous teachers who punished me for not scoring well in maths. That is exactly what this regime is doing. They have climbed to power through this particular judiciary, and I want to warn them and warn the judiciary. Judiciary, you midwifed the election of these people. You midwifed their presidency. It's time they start saying that you are smelling like kids of goats. Yeah, and this is the time now they want to tear you and prepare a meal out of you. You prepared it for them. They talked of hot air. They talked of wild goose chase. It is the same today. And I want to tell Kenyans, it is high time we joined the judiciary. Because if we don't do this, the country is sliding into anarchy. And
as a Kenyan, are you concerned, or rather, do you fear if the judiciary is being controlled by the executive?
Not just fearing. We are actually prepared to go back to the streets and tell these people enough is enough. We need a bold citizen. We need a bold judiciary, because 3-4 people cannot slide this country into its initial dark days. We've seen the executive castrate the parliament. We will not allow the judiciary to be castrated. We as Kenyans are watchful and do not allow these people to castrate us. Yes, over our dead bodies. All Kenyans should respect the rule of law. And nobody is immune to the rule of law.
As a Kenyan, what do you think is the solution to this particular standoff?
Sobering up. These guys need to sober up. Yeah? They need to respect the three arms of the government. Respect parliament. This parliament was twisted to come up with policies that are punitive to Kenyans. Watch if Kenyans have gone to court against those punitive policies, the levy, the health insurance. These are punitive policies. If parliament, through twisting, did their job, through the executive, judiciary is not the same kind of a baby to get twisted like the parliament. We know parliament sometimes, they live in the pockets of these people. Yeah.
So you support the judiciary?
I support the judiciary, 100%. Yeah. And I want to tell those people who are against the judiciary, especially the deputy president, hey, umekanyaga pabaya, na wachana na Esther Maina. Now, wewe ulikuwa deputy president through an accident. Yes. Stop extending your accident to the judiciary. Yes.
Thank you so much. Bwana Irongo, come closer. Tell me, what do you think of the president saying that he will disobey the courts, or rather saying that threatening the judges? What do you make out of them?
Yeah, good morning, Chichi, my viewer. I think that is a rather unfortunate gesture from the president, because I believe Kenya as a sovereign state must be governed and ruled by the rule of law. And we cannot afford to disobey the courts. Otherwise, this country is going to slide into anarchy. We don't want this country to be ruled by the rule of the jungle. That's why we passed the new constitution in 2010. And I believe everybody, starting from the president to the small child in nursery school, we should all respect the rule of law. And it is rather unfortunate. Although I cannot overrule that there is corruption in this country, we all know that there is corruption in this country. And even in the courts, like I was looking at the Chief Justice when he was addressing the media yesterday, and she was saying that they have already sacked 71 judicial officers. And there are other judicial officers and some judges who are being investigated by the Judicial Service Commission. So that is to mean that there is still corruption in the judiciary. However, I dislike when the government is attacking the judiciary, one arm of the government. Judiciary is an arm of the government, and I believe that the judiciary should be allowed to be an independent arm of the government, just like the executive and the legislature. Also, I want to urge the government to allow the three arms of the government to act independently. Even like parliament, sometimes the parliament is made to pass rules that are not beneficial to the common man. For example, there was that bill of the finance bill that was not liked by many people because it is punitive. We also see the issue of affordable housing, whereby many people are complaining that they cannot afford to be deducted the deductions for affordable housing. Yes, I believe that the affordable housing project is viable and it is good. However, the government and the government of Kenya Kwanza should look for money elsewhere. They should not overtax people, because already people are feeling the pinch. And one rule of boxing is that when your opponent is on the ground, you don't continue punching him. At least allow him to wake up. Right now, Kenyans are feeling the pinch of the taxes. Kenyans are feeling the pinch of the economy, because the economy is doing badly right now. So when you continue overtaxing them, imposing punitive taxes, like now we have seen some companies are relocating from this country to other countries like Uganda, Tanzania, because of punitive taxes. When our manufacturing sector is shifting base to go to Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, that is something to worry. Because when they go away, they are they are allowing our people not to have jobs. Yeah.
I'll ask you a question that I asked Bwana Kimani wa Kimani. Are you concerned, or do you fear if the judiciary is controlled by the executive?
Yeah, that is something to fear. The judiciary must be made to stay independent, so that they pass laws that are beneficial to the mwananchi, so that they can feel they are not being controlled. We don't want to slide back to the regime of to the Moi regime, whereby we used to see that judges used to be called in the morning and told there is this and this case. can you pass the judgment this week? No. Judges must be allowed to be independent. The judiciary must be allowed to be independent. Yeah.
The solution to this particular standoff, what do you think briefly?
I think that the president has an opportunity to call the judiciary officers, especially the Chief Justice and the Judicial Service Commission. Let them sit down, have a dialogue, and maybe come up with an amicable solution. Because when you see the president and the deputy president attacking the judiciary on the roads, and then we see, on the other hand, the Judicial Service Commission, and especially the Chief Justice, attacking the government on the other hand, I think that is not good for this country. We need to see them working hand in hand, because this is one government. And the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary must work together so for the common good of this country and for the common good of the Monanchi. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Bona Irongo. Bona Benson, come closer, let's talk. I want you to talk to me more especially. What do you make of the president saying that he will disobey the court orders and also threatening judges? What do you make as a Kenyan?
I think my name is Benson Masharia. I'm a resident of Nakuru. One of the key concerns of us, even as state stakeholders and all that, is the comments by the president. When you start saying that you are going to disobey the court orders, it is a recipe for chaos. That means even if today Wanjiko on the street decide they are not going to allow to disobey, they are going to disobey all the laws of Kenya. Why will the president take the people? It is still in the same courts. What we are saying, we must agree that in both the three arms of government, there is corruption. In executive, there is corruption. In the judiciary, there is corruption. In the legislature, there is corruption. What we don't need to victimize one arm of government like the judiciary, and we now start saying that we are going to say they are the voice of Wanjiko. They are the last resort for any citizen in this republic. If you are aggrieved by the parliament, if you are aggrieved by the executive, you run to the courts. Because the Constitution of Kenya 2010 gave them the jurisprudence to be able to stand in the gaps for Kenyans and be able to protect Kenyans in whichever way.
So far, so good. What do you think is the solution? Because we've seen President William Ruto, of course, speaking against the judiciary saying that the president is attacking them. What do you think is the proper solution to this particular standoff?
The president must stop chest thumping. The executive must behave and understand without the judiciary, they still cannot operate. We have seen before where there have been attempts to muzzle the judiciary. It has ended badly. Because if today, again, the same government runs to the same courts to seek for orders for them to be able to do something, and then they are denied by the same court, they will come back to us, Wanjiko, and start complaining. The issue is the government must be able to agree, they must respect the courts, they must obey the court orders, so that if they have any difference, they must come together. Like we have seen them having dinner, we have seen the Mother Kwame going to State House. Let them sit down and come up with solutions to the judicial problems that we are facing. But we shall not allow as citizens the muzzling of our judiciary so that it becomes like a kangaroo court that will be dictated by anybody on what to do.
Bona Benson, President William Ruto said that the judiciary is undermining his key projects, more especially one of them being the affordable housing program. What do you think? Is it true that, or rather, what do you think? Is it true that the judiciary could be indeed undermine his key projects?
No. What the president must agree is that you are not a master of everything. As the government, you are not a master of everything, that you know everything. There are steps they have taken and they have put the cart before the horse. It is the work of the judiciary to correct the steps. For example, there is the Climate Change Act that was done within 1 week. On Tuesday, it was discussed. On the Wednesday, the second reading. On Thursday. That means that they never went through public participation. And me, as a citizen, I need to rush to court and say my input was never given. And some of these declarations that have been given by the judiciary, they have centered around issues of public participation. The government must allow. They cannot twist people. They cannot go back behind the scene and come up with policies that they think they will help Kenya. They must consult us. We are Wanjiko. We are the stakeholders. So they cannot purport now they know everything about everybody. We will run to the same courts, seek orders until we get conservatory orders, until they learn to consult and follow procedure in any development they want to do.
A very important question. Do you fear if the judiciary is controlled by the executive as a Kenyan?
Initially, when this government came in, They sweared in the judges immediately, those who were not sworn during President Uhuru's time. And for us who are stakeholders, we were fearing that at the end of the day, they were trying to buy the loyalty of the judiciary to supporting them. But we are happy the judiciary never went that way. They decided that at the end of the day, whether you did that to us, we are going to be an independent institution. And that is exactly what has happened, because we have not heard where any judge has been called to convict somebody or to be able to sentence somebody. What we are going to say, even when they work together, they must work to work together within parameters of not interfering with one another.
In the contrary, some Kenyans feel that the judiciary is too corrupt, and President William Ruto is in the front line of ensuring that the corruption is out. What do you think of this? Because they feel that the judiciary is trying to cover up for themselves, bearing in mind that it is a corrupt department. What do you think?
What we can say, we are not going again to stand here and say that judiciary is clean. It is not. There are also rotten potatoes inside the judiciary that needs to be sorted out. We have seen judges being interdicted by JSC. We have seen some of them, even like you had Mother Kome yesterday giving a report that there are several judicial officers who have been taken. They have been indicted for various crimes within the judiciary. This one must be stemmed. We are not saying the judiciary is clean, because even Mother Kome must clean the house, must make sure that cartels have been removed along the judiciary, that maybe somehow they may also be working with cahoots with certain activists to be able to frustrate government when it comes to working and how it's supposed to work. So the judiciary must be clean.
What do you think the president should do so far so good?
I think the president must sit down with the judiciary. The president must agree. This country belongs to all of us as Kenyans, that any issue they must do, they must ensure issues of public participation. Otherwise, if they keep disregarding Kenyans, they will start projects, they will start initiatives that some of us and policies that we feel the parliament have been twisted to pass, and we will still run to the judiciary. So the president need to actually have some level of jurisprudence, and the advisors must be able to advise the president accordingly, so that we don't have this issue of fighting or back and forth.
All right. Thank you, Bona Benson. Therefore, Stan, those are sentiments from locals in this particular county, of course, explaining more on what they feel about this particular matter regarding the judiciary. But also in a similar matter, the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, said that on Thursday, he will file a petition seeking the removal of Esther Maina, that is Justice Esther Maina, for what he said that she unceremoniously declared his fortune proceeds of crime. But also he said that this particular move was meant to taint his image. So we wait and see what really transpires with Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Go ahead and file the petition. And until then, I call it a wrap up and hand over to you, Stan. My name is Chichi Josephine.